Hello everyone. Today we are talking about the privacy paradox. The privacy paradox states that users' behavior is not in line with the stated privacy preferences. For example, users might say that they are very concerned about their privacy, however, they willingly give away their personal data in exchange for perceived benefits. In this video, I will go through the history of the paradox, studies that have confirmed it, and finally present counter-arguments to its validity. First, the history of the privacy paradox. The term was first coined in 2001 in a paper by Barry Brown, working for HP at the time, who passed away in February 2022, titled Studying the Internet Experience. In this paper, he studied online shopping behavior of 13 participants from the southwest of England. He discovered that although participants were wary about giving websites their personal information, such as credit card information, they still like to shop online due to convenience or monetary reasons. The author gives one possible reason. Participants feel that they should be concerned about these issues in terms of appearing as reasonable individuals, although in practice these issues may not actually influence their practice. In other words, participants gave the answers they thought the researchers wanted to hear, but that does not actually reflect their own behavior. It is worth noting that a study done with only 13 participants from a very particular region is not at all generalizable. Nonetheless, the privacy paradox could be confirmed in subsequent studies, and the term privacy paradox was really established by Norberg and colleagues in 2007 in their paper The Privacy Paradox: Personal Information Disclosure Intentions versus Behaviors. There are a couple of explanations of the privacy paradox, and a paper from Acquisti and Grosklax presented in 2005, Privacy and Rationality and in Individual Decision Making, confirmed also the paradox, and an example of their findings is the fact that 87.5% of their 119 US-based participants who claimed to be very concerned about the offline collections of their personal information had and used supermarket loyalty cards. There are three reasons for this and similar behavior. First, incomplete information. Incomplete information means the underestimation or unawareness of privacy risks such as profiling, identity theft, etc. People also underestimate the government's potential to spy on them. Next, bounded rationality. Bounded rationality means the difficulty to process all relevant information, such as reading privacy policies, considering all relevant actors in, for example, a credit card transaction, and so on. Another example is the misconception that deleting browser cookies enables private browsing. However, a 2019 study found that even people who are well informed about privacy risks are not willing to put in any effort into protecting their privacy. Third, psychological deviations from rationality. Lastly, even if humans have all the information and are able to process it fully, they still behave irrationally. One of these irrational behaviors is that humans tend to overvalue immediate rewards over future negative effects. An example would be not paying money for a VPN now to make one's internet surfing in the future more privacy preserving. Nowadays, research tries to explain the alleged paradox by examining the difference of stated preference and behavior, stated and observed. I will not go into detail about these models here, but if you're interested, Spiros Kokolakis has written a great paper about this subject, Privacy Attitudes and Privacy Behavior, a review of current research on the privacy paradox phenomenon. I will link all the papers mentioned in this video in the description. Finally, we come to the rebuttal of the privacy paradox. In Daniel Soloff's paper, aptly titled The Myth of the Privacy Paradox, he argues that the privacy paradox is a myth created by faulty logic. He claims that research that focuses on the privacy paradox falsely generalizes from people's behavior in a specific context to their privacy attitudes in general. As privacy is a very personal concept, this argument seems reasonable. According to Soloff, rather than a paradox, difference in behavior and stated preference is a result in different perceptions of value and risk. Sharing personal data might be harmful for one person, but could be seen as completely risk-free by another, depending on the respective trust. This concept is also called privacy calculus. This trust can, for example, be higher in the EU, where citizens are protected by the GDPR, than in other parts of the world. So if an EU citizen is willing to share data, that does not mean that they care less about privacy than, for example, a US citizen who might not be protected by similar laws. This point is also addressed by the book Privacy as Trust from Ari Ezra Waldman, a summary and synopsis of which you can find on my channel and in the description of this video. Solov concludes, rightly in my opinion, that individuals should not be responsible for regulating their own privacy, as this subject is way too complex. Instead, privacy regulations and technical tools to enhance individuals' privacy should be put in place, something I argue for on this channel almost constantly. So to conclude, the privacy paradox states that the observed behavior from people in the real world is incongruent to their stated privacy preferences, meaning they say, or usually it means they value privacy, but they don't act it. Reasons for this are incomplete information about the risks involved in giving away data, bounded rationality, meaning they don't have complete knowledge of everything, and if they do, they are not acting rationally, and this can be attributed to psychological deviations from rationality. Finally, we have seen Daniel Solov's paper, The Myth of the Privacy Paradox. He's by far not the only one saying that research shouldn't really focus on this paradox, but rather on ways to make systems more privacy preserving in general, and should not put the burden on privacy on the individual. By the way, that's why the GDPR is not a very good law. Other principles, such as, for example, privacy by design, are in the same vein, saying systems should be inherently privacy preserving and therefore releasing the individual from choosing privacy preferences and so on. So that's it from my side for the privacy paradox. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section of this video. And if you found the video interesting and you learned something, please like it, consider subscribing to the channel, and I see you in the next video.